A late-breaking and stunning development. Sources leaking from inside the police investigation confirmed even the investigators who had once clung to the hope that this little girl died by accident and was then part of a cover-up of the death now are convinced of murder one, and also that the tot mom acted completely alone. Let's go out to the lawyers. Gloria Allred, victims' rights advocate, family law attorney, joining us out of L.A. Randy Kessler, veteran trial lawyer out of Atlanta, and Joe Episcopo, defense attorney out of the Florida jurisdiction. To Gloria Allred, weigh in. Gloria satellite down to Randy Kessler, weigh in.
You know, I think that the biggest problem the prosecution may have is a sympathetic jury. It takes a unanimous verdict to convict. And you know what? All these donations that are coming in nationwide, $20 here, $20 there, I think this new development may be worse for the prosecution because we all want to humanize her. She doesn't look like a killer. And we want to think maybe it was an accident. Well, all of a sudden, whoever did this is a demon. Whoever put tape across her mouth, suffocated her, whatever they did is a demon. And the jury may be sympathetic, or one person on the jury may be sympathetic. That's a problem for the prosecution.
Well, hold on. Randy, what you just said doesn't make any sense. How could all of this evidence hurt the prosecution?
This is how it could hurt the prosecution. They know that she's dead. They know that there's been a murder. What they have to do is tie it to Casey. Now, the problem is we want to humanize her. As human beings, we think she looks normal, she looks decent.
But how does that hurt the prosecution?
Because now they have to prove that she's this demon, and it looks like an even more evil person. It would have been easy. Okay.
Kessler,
yes.
Kessler, I think one crime scene photo of a tiny skull whose mouth is covered in duct tape with Caylee's hair attached will convince the jury of the identity or the character of the killer.
Of the killer, that's right, but is this the killer? Why would people across the country be donating money to her, giving her money to buy products in jail if some people out there didn't have some hope that she was innocent? And all it takes is one on the jury.
Pause, Randy Kessler. The death penalty is back on the table.
That's true. No. Florida's executed more people than just about any other state since Georgia versus Greg. But Nancy, your comments and Mr. Padilla's comments illustrate my point, which is it's easier to think maybe it was an accident. Nobody wants to believe that the mother of the child would have caused the death.
I never thought it was accident.
But not you. Well, you're a prosecutor, Nancy, and you're strong, and you know what happens, and you know they're bad people. But the average juror is the average American. And Mr. Padilla, who knew the people, and he's been closer to the case than any of the jurors will be, he actually thought it was an accident. So the prosecution has to prove, and they've got the burden of proof, and that's what we go back to always. They've got to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, and they've got to convince all 12 jurors. And this is something that's harder to prove, that it was such a monstrosity, as opposed to maybe it was an accident and a cover-up, which might have been easier to prove for the prosecution.
Kessler, my question was, which Episcopo danced around, you're a beautiful dancer, Joe Episcopo, the lawyer keeps saying, he won't say why he's seeking immunity for the grandparents. He just keeps saying, well, it's my job. The grandparents have got to know he's asking for immunity on their behalf.
Well, I'm going to dance too, Nancy. You know, it's our job sometimes. We got to take the fall. Who knows? If he comes out and says this is why we're taking immunity and lets the cat out of the bag, then what's the point of immunity? You know, also, why is the prosecution considering immunity?
You know what? Kessler, you and Episcopo, if I'm ever charged with murder, I'm hiring